You put a gun to somebody's head. We're lucky you haven't killed somebody because that's the path you're on.
He pulls a gun on a 14-year-old kid and steals not only that kid's dirt bike, but also a small amount of cash from that 14-year-old. The PSI indicates that 14-year-old is so traumatized by this, they can't even attend public school anymore, Judge. When he was apprehended with that stolen dirt bike, there was a vehicle associated with this defendant. And in that vehicle were other subjects who had 4 firearms in that vehicle, Judge. And as if that was not bad enough, he goes on to brag about this criminal activity on social media. And if that wasn't bad enough, Judge, he goes on to taunt the victim of the UUMV on social media as well. Judge, he is youthful. I'll acknowledge that. He does not have any adult criminal history, Your Honor. I will acknowledge that. But, Your Honor, what he has engaged in is beyond the pale. He needs prison time, in my opinion, Your Honor. And that's what we're asking this court to do. If somehow, in any way, shape, or form, the court's considering community supervision, we'd ask for shock probation, some prison time up front, and then shock him out on community supervision. Judge, again, this is just beyond the pale. And I think the PSI speaks for itself. Thanks, Judge.
Mr. Chopin, these cases for me with kids your age are so hard. And I have for a very long time tried very hard to give chances. But all of the guns and the riding around and so you're January 2019, you're put on January of 2019, you are put on probation, juvenile probation. You violated it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On your 7th time to violate, they finally sent you to TJJD, right? 7 times you were given an opportunity. You go to TJJD, obviously you're not there very long because you get out, and then in December of 2022, you commit an unlawful carrying a weapon, evading arrest or detention, and you're again put on probation. You're given another opportunity in January of 2023. So in this year, you were put on probation for a gun case and an evading case. While you're on that probation, after you've been to TJJD, you commit these 3 offenses while you're on probation. So none of it makes sense that I want to do better. And I mean, all this riding around with guns and masks and stealing, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Go to see in the jury box. I gotta think about this one some more for a minute. So what I've done, in addition to obviously just thinking about it and looking at all of this a little bit more, is ask and get any incident reports that you've had since you've been in custody. And Mr. Chopin, I appreciate Mr. Lewis and what he's done and the arguments he's made for you. And like I said before, it really kills me to what I feel like I have to do to you young people. But we are in Jefferson County tired of young people running around here with guns. You put a gun to somebody's head. We're lucky you haven't killed somebody because that's the path you're on. You've had opportunities at probation, and unfortunately, those haven't worked. You've actually already had 2. You were sent to TJJD, you got out, you still committed offenses, and then you got probation again, and then you're here. So all this talk of I want to do right and I'm going to do better is just a bunch of baloney. The way you can't follow the rules in jail shows me same pattern. You can't follow the rules. So at this time, in cause number 23 DCCR 0993, I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of unauthorized use of a vehicle. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 2 years in the state jail prison. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number, and these were all just open. So in cause number 23, DCCR 0991, I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 10 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 23, DCCR 0992, I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated robbery. Sentence you to a term of 25 years in the institution of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I am making an affirmative weapon, finding of a deadly weapon. These cases will run concurrently, which means together at the same time. So I am denying the state's motion to accumulate, which is a gift to you. I am going to grant the state's motion to forfeit the weapon, which is a Taurus Millennium G2 pistol bearing serial number TIP 10158. I'm going to hand you, I need there should be an admonishment showing that I signed it. It wasn't a plea agreement, but I don't see one printed out. Mr. Chopin, I take no pleasure in giving out a sentence like this, but I feel like what I have to do is protect Jefferson County from people like you, who have continued to show that you're just a danger and becoming more and more of a danger instead of learning from the opportunities that you've been given. You will be handed in just a minute a trial court certification in each of your cases that shows these weren't agreements, so you do have rights to appeal, and you can talk to Mr. Lewis about that. I hope you take advantage of any programs. You're still young. You're going to get out of prison, and you're going to be young still and have a lot of your life ahead of you. I hope what you do while you're in prison is do what you're saying you really want to do, is get your life together. There's programs you can get out. You can have education when you get out. They offer that, and hopefully be a productive member of society instead of going down the wrong path that you've been going. All right, good luck to you. You can go back with the bailiff. We'll get those forms printed.
All right, are you Leonard Dale Adelbert?
Yes.
And this is cause number 16-25968. Mr. Adelbert is on probation for driving while intoxicated, third or more. A motion to revoke has been filed, and Mr. Cole has filed a motion asking that I set a bond in this case. And it looks like the allegations from that motion are that Mr. Adelbert, while on probation, allegedly committed the new offense of driving while intoxicated, third or more, January 9th of 2025 in Chambers County, Texas, that he left Jefferson County without permission, that he drove a vehicle that did not have an interlock device on it, that when he was stopped, the allegation is the intoxilizer that was administered provided breath samples of 0.108 and 0.115 and behind in his fees a little bit as well. Mr. Cole?
Well, Your Honor, I think since the time that Mr. Adelbert was put on probation in 2017, up until this latest incident, his mental capacity has changed dramatically. He's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He's on the verge of his nerves inside of his brain have shrunk. So on top of the Alzheimer's, he's has the possibility of having a stroke. So I think that this is him not remembering the conditions, and his wife is here that can, his keys, you're taking his keys. We do have paperwork that I gave to counsel that can, from the doctor showing that he does have Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed in March with Alzheimer's, and nerves in his brain are shrinking, Your Honor. He's unaware that he even violated the condition.
Well, that makes it even scarier for me.
That I know it does, but we're asking that we get him out, and his wife take care of him and make sure that he doesn't drive that car anymore. Take the keys, now that we're aware of.
Why don't you, if you want to put on a witness, that might help.
I'd like to call Gwendolyn Brown, please.
Okay, Ms. Brown, come on up, ma'am. Do you have some documentation? Ma'am. And your name, what was your first name? Gwendolyn Brown. And Ms. Brown, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Cole.
State your name for the record, ma'am.
Gwendolyn and Albert.
And how long have you known this gentleman right here?
We've been married 13 years.
13 years. And when did you start noticing deterioration in his mental capacity?
Back in December last month,
December.
last year, 2004.
I guess another question I want to ask you is,
Can you speak up, please?
what are you willing to do to ensure that Mr. Heidelberg no longer has access to his vehicle?
I will take the keys from him. He will not drive anymore. Never. I already had the keys. He can't drive anymore. He will not drive anymore. He will not drive anymore. I will take the keys from him, and he will not drive.
And do you think that in the situation that happened in Chambers County, do you think that he was aware of the conditions of probation that he was violating?
No, he wasn't aware because his probation officer told him that she was done with him. So when you say you're done with somebody, that means you're done with them. You thought he wasn't on probation anymore.
So there's a lot going on upstairs, Your Honor. I don't want him showing back up in a red suit. I know she didn't care for him outside of this facility that he's currently in right now, which is in jail. We have a court case in Chambers County that we would like to be at. And I don't think that he was intentionally violating probation. I think that he, at this point, his mind is, so he's getting lost. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going. And I can have a conversation with him right now and he'll forget it in the next 2 hours. So, you know, it's one of the
Thank you,
things.
ma'am. You can have a seat.
I just want to say one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
When he was in jail in Chambers County, the probation officer told me to bring him to her as soon as I get him out of jail, right? So I brought him to her, and then she called his name, and I was going upstairs with him, and she said, "Miss Heidelberg, you have to stay downstairs." So she went. She said, "Only me and my supervisor need to talk to him." So the supervisor talked to him, and when he came back outside, I said, "What did she say?" He said, "Nothing." She said, "Go home." But she had told him to go turn himself in to Jefferson County. And he didn't remember by the time he got back to the car. So he would have been in jail.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Malfino, based on,
Obviously, I have the same concerns as the court based on the representation of his wife, that he won't be driving. That gives me a little bit of comfort. I did speak myself with Ms. Hunter. I know she's probably just told him what the rules are, and maybe he doesn't understand them, but I know she hasn't been combative with him. She initially told me she doesn't oppose him being a bond. I don't know if she's aware of these medical conditions, but, the driving factor. And obviously, you couldn't go somewhere like mental health, safety, or anything with that.
no, not with that diagnosis, and I don't think with that diagnosis either.
Right.
Let me look at something else. All right, so what I'm going to do in this case is set a bond. I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. I'm going to order that a condition of that bond is that Mr. Heidelberg not drive ever. And I'm doing that on the representation that the keys will be taken away, hidden, whatever's necessary. And so I'm looking at you, ma'am, that you are giving me that representation to make me feel comfortable that he doesn't get the keys somehow and drive. So just sticking them in your purse or sticking them in a drawer with this type of diagnosis is not going to be good enough. I'm going with your assurances that you're going to take care of that. Obviously, you don't want anything to happen to anyone else in the community as much as I don't. So I'm going to do this based on the fact that you're giving me those assurances. And then obviously there will not need to be, if there's already an order for an interlock, I will allow that to be. Is there an interlock?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
But he's done.
Well, I know we want him to be done and we're saying he's done. You're able to drive the vehicle with the interlock, correct?
I can't breathe. You talking about a breathing thing?
Y'all don't have, how many cars do y'all have?
I have one car.
Okay,
His car is gone.
it's gone.
Right.
So I won't require an interlock on her vehicle so that if he doesn't have, if that's gone, then we're fine with that. Any other condition other than the no driving and her assurances that you can think of, Ms. Malfino?
No, you're right.
All right, we'll reset it for an announcement on that MTRP.
Well, may I just inquire, Judge, before that hearing, is it Mr. Giles, Mr. Cole, your representation to the court that you believe at some point in time your client will be able to enter pleas of either true or not true to this motion, or do we need to make some other?
I believe that he'll be able to make pleas are true or not true.
Okay.
Yes.
Once you have more time to visit with him as well, if there's an issue because of the diagnosis with regard to competency, we might have to try to just see where we are on it all. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can go back with the bailiff. Yes, sir.